Live from the AOK Production House, studio number 2. I'm Nick O'Kelly.
And I'm Derek Daisy.
If only they could see what you're doing in the studio.
I know. I took the 360 camera out for that reason.
Sometimes it's something to see, you know. It's a good thing that we're not live on TV.
Yeah. It's a shame we're not live on TV, actually.
Yeah, it really is. But, we'll get there one of these days.
That's right.
That's right.
When we lose 300 or 400 more pounds, Nick, we're going to be there.
Derek, tonight we have a very special guest, and we're kind of flipping our interviews on its head. We've met with a lot of different bands, a lot of different artists, but we have not met anyone who is over a venue.
Yeah.
So tonight, listeners, we have joining us the director of the Charleston Music Hall, Charles Carmody. Charles, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Now, did they name the
Happy to be
Charles?
here.
Did they name the venue after you?
Yeah.
They just shortened.
Yeah, well, they named the city after me first.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
That's man. Congratulations. I've been looking to do that here in Somerville.
Hundreds of years old, actually. I should have a higher paying job than I do.
Oh man,
I'm a really dumb vampire.
Yeah, that's really something that should be on your resume.
Yeah, you should start with that.
Dumb vampire. So I have some skills, but not many useful ones.
Same.
Well, Charles,
that's life.
You are a Charleston native, correct?
Correct.
That's very cool. Me too.
Born and raised in the great town of Mount Pleasant.
Nice.
Wow. Right
Very
over
nice.
the bridge. Yeah. All the way over the bridge.
I know.
All the way over the bridge.
Oh, my gosh. How do you survive that drive?
I know.
Oh, my gosh. I hear it.
Was brutal.
Oh, man. People.
Yeah, I went to Portergown for 12 years as well. So, man, that 12-minute drive every morning was, to my personal hell, was a fun time.
Oh, my gosh. I feel for you. I feel like I was there. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had to be there.
No, there's
for
anybody who's listening, like that's the thing about Charleston is everybody really exaggerates how far away Mount Pleasant is from downtown Charleston.
Everything's about 25 minutes.
Yeah. And really just the bridge. People I drive from Somerville downtown. That's a drive.
It is a long bridge.
But it's
a drive. That bridge is quite long. It is funny though. People will call us on the phone. They'll be like, "I'm coming all the way from Mount Pleasant.
That's right.
Just want to make sure the roads are clear down there."
We'll
why are you from New York? Number one, and number two, what do you mean the roads are clear?
We hope you're ride sharing because that's a lot of CO2.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, man. Well, Charles, I have been to several shows at the Music Hall. Really, really like that venue. And you sent us the bio today. I did not know it, but there's 935 seats there. And also more than 200 events per year. That's a lot.
It's a lot of events. Yes, sir.
Wow, so you're busy. Personally.
I'm busy.
Yeah.
Personally, very busy.
Yeah, okay.
Also, I'm getting married in October. So
congratulations.
On top of everything else.
Yeah.
The wedding planning is in full force. So it's been a lot going on. But yeah, it's been a great run. I started in 2012. I convinced the owner of the building to let me come in and reopen it in 2012.
Wow. Interesting.
And what did he say?
Well, he said, I just couldn't believe that it wasn't being utilized. So I got a meeting with him, and I presented a business proposal. We had a couple meetings, and he literally said, finally he hired me, and he said, "Okay, I don't know where the keys are, but find the keys to the building and go run it."
Wow.
Now, I have to ask, because I did not realize that. It wasn't being used before 2012. Is that
So brief history is it was built in the building is 1850. It was an old train station.
Wow.
And then 1886 there was an earthquake and it ruptured the building a bit, and then it became a cotton bag manufacturing plant.
Wow.
Yeah, and then it was a warehouse, and then in '94, Bennett Hospitality transformed it into the Charleston Music Hall for a guy named Calvin Gilmore from Myrtle Beach.
Huh.
So Calvin came to Charleston from Myrtle Beach. He had the Carolina Opry up there, Alabama Theater. He still runs all that stuff.
Wow.
And the idea was to bring that show to Charleston, run it 6 nights a week. They bus tourists in. Ben Hospitality owns Hampton Inn and Embassy Suites next door, and then Rue de Jean and the restaurants on the other side. Rue de Jean was Hula Hands at the time. So the idea was, they eat at Hula Hands, they stay at the Hampton Inn, they see the show. It's a great package. And Calvin did a 40-year contract with Bennett Hospitality.
Wow.
And basically he got bought out by Disney. Disney no longer wanted to do the show. They pulled out, and then Bennett Hospitality is left with a 935-seat venue. They're hotel developers. So, from 96, 98 onwards, it never had a full-blown full-time staff. It was more of a rental facility. And they did some great stuff like the Charleston Christmas Special. David Byrne was there in 2004. I mean, there was some cool stuff that happened, but it was all outside promoters coming in and using the space.
Wow,
which ultimately just doesn't really work for anyone.
Yeah.
So I went in and convinced him to let me actually try and turn it into a fully functioning, self-producing, operating venue, and didn't know what I was getting into, but oh man, it was a lot. But have had a blast. I mean, it's been really fun.
Yeah.
So
6 years.
Yeah, I was 23 at the time.
Wow.
So yeah, I can't believe they had a lot. I mean, it wasn't being utilized. So I guess you figured what harm could you do?
Right.
And it worked.
Well, you could have burned it down.
We did 116 events in the subsequent years, and now we're up to we'll do 250 again this year, and we're in the black, and we've got a full I've got 4 full-time employees and a great team, and it's been awesome.
Who's been your favorite artist thus far to come in?
Yeah.
The most fun was Dave Chappelle. He did a 2-night run with us.
I forgot that's where he was
last year.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was a blast. Very, very, very funny and nice human.
Yeah.
My favorite music was Glenn Hansard, Irish singer-songwriter. He did the music for that film Once back in 2007.
Huh. Yeah.
Amazing.
That's a great
Amazing.
song.
I mean, he's one of my favorites, first off, but he played for 3.5 hours.
God.
And the Irish have this really amazing, they see music how it's supposed to be seen, I think, which is community. I mean, it's very much, not so much about the individual as it is about the community act at music incites. And he's very much in that spirit. So it was a cool concert.
3.5 hours, though. I'd be like,
3.5 hours.
Dude, I got crap to do. Dude, I got to put laundry away. Come on, man. Just play the hits. Let's go.
Come on, man. What are the hits? We got stuff to do.
Yeah.
I've only seen one 3-hour concert, and it was David Crosby.
Oh yeah. Yep. Was that this year or last year?
It was a couple of years ago, actually, but I was up in Winston-Salem when I saw. Or
gotcha.
No, it was Durham. I'm sorry, Durham.
He played for 3 hours.
Yeah. Well, it was him and his son's band goes around with him. There was CPR at one point, and he did 2 hour and 15-20 minute sets with an intermission. Yep.
Wow.
Great show.
Yeah.
Great show.
Yeah.
Great show.
I was very tired.
Yeah. When it comes to getting the artists, because I mean, you go from being virtually unknown because people rent the place out, but how do you put yourself out there to say to get people like Dave Chappelle to come on in?
I mean, it was very, very difficult. I mean, that was one of our biggest hurdles when I started. Was no one knew who we were, so I would cold call these booking agents. You can look up their rosters online. So I would look them up and I'd run through their list and they'd say, no, no. And then I'd get a yes, and it would be, it's going to be $25,000. So, because obviously, booking agent makes commission off of whatever the artist makes. I was a young guy, had no idea what I was doing at the time.
Right.
And so they were all just trying to rail me. But I got, I started getting a couple shows under my belt and started working with some Ear for Music and the Music Farm and some local guys who, really knew what they were doing, and kind of brought them in as partners for some early stuff. And then it really all turned around in 2000, like late 2013, I kept hitting this wall of just not. Number one, the owners were hesitant to buy talent. Rightly so. I mean, it's a huge risk. They don't, that's not their game. But also, it was hard to get talent to come here. So I just drove to Nashville, and actually stayed in like a hostel and just like set up all these meetings with booking agents and promoters and all this stuff. Like I had a meeting with a company called National Shows 2, and their promotions company based in Nashville. Yeah. And they came on as our exclusive talent buyer in 2014. And that changed the game, because what it meant was they would share the risk on shows with us. Number one. Number two, all they do is book shows. So they talk to agents all day long. Wow. So we were so I would basically talk to them. We would set up who we want to book, and then, together we had more firepower, because they would say, listen, we'll put your artists in Charleston, but we also want to, take them to, all these other cities. And it really turned around. I mean, we said we would do 20 shows with them the first year. We did 40, and now we're doing more like 70 national concerts that are booked with our partners, National Shows too.
Wow.
So that's like our cornerstone. Those 70 concerts are the Cyndi Laupers and the They Might Be Giants and the, all that, Art Garfunkels. And then around that, the other, 100 plus events, we do our own produced shows now, like the Driving Cryans and local artists. We're doing like a local hip hop release show next month for Benjamin Starr. We do films and then rentals. We rent for Children's Dance and corporate companies and all that stuff. So through kind of these different, rentals, co-producing and producing our own stuff, we've been able to keep busy, and then also, bring money in different revenue streams that keep it afloat.
Well, I tell you, it's a great venue. I love that kind of theater setup. I had, when I was in high school, the town I was living in at the time redid our high school theater. It was several $1 million renovation, and they built that kind of an auditorium where you have the balcony, the mezzanine, and then kind of the just the rows leading up to the stage. It lends itself very well to acoustics, and I've always enjoyed the shows that I've seen there. I have a question, though. You said you were 23 when you started this. Did you study music business in school or anything? What led you to doing this at such an early age?
Yeah, because you don't just wake up in the morning and you're like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go down to the Charleston Music Hall and I'm going to take over, baby.
I mean, that was an ambitious take, I think.
Yeah,
yeah.
When we're young, we're just so stupid. Sometimes we think things can work, and sometimes they do. I mean, I don't know. I was out of my mind. But,
yes.
I'm a musician first and foremost. So I grew up playing music, was in bands, went to music school in Canada for a year, actually, and then came back and finished at College of Charleston. I actually majored in English.
Wow.
Because I had no idea what the heck I wanted to do.
Well, at least you can
English,
speak it.
I spoke it. I could read it pretty well. I thought, I enjoy this.
You're pretty good at English, yeah. I understand you.
Yeah.
So I did that, but in college, I was living on Spring Street downtown, and this old dilapidated house. It was like $150 a month, and like 10 of us lived in it. And we had a nice backyard, and we built a stage back there. We started doing these Tuesday night concerts called Bean Night. And I'd cook a giant pot of beans and rice. Yeah. And we would have an open stage. We'd eat, and then people would just hang out, and whatever happened. We started to get touring bands coming through, just they started hearing about it. And, what started with like 20 or 30 of us grew to 150 in just a few months. And that experience made me realize this is what I want to do. I mean, I want to present art. I want to gather humans, and I want to run my own space. So that's kind of where I got the bug, and then just went for it.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
That's ambitious.
You did a heck of a job, I have to say. Now, you are directly across from the music farm, and
correct.
So my question to you is, how do you manage that competition? Not that it is a competition, but what did you define kind of what sort of music genre you wanted in your venue, and it was different from theirs? How did you balance that out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think naturally they're different rooms. First and foremost, that's been my argument my push since the beginning is all of us venues in Charleston aren't competing against each other or competing against other cities.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, that's really, and we have to work together in order to build, the band needs to start at the Royal American or the Poorhouse, go to the Farm, and then maybe go on to the Music Hall, the Gilliard, the Performing Arts, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's really important to be growing artists from, when they're selling 100, 200 tickets. So as far as Music Farm, very different rooms. They're a rock club, standing room, about 700 capacity. And it's a very different experience than the Music Hall, which is seats. So just naturally, the difference in the room lended itself to a different type of act. I certainly have tried to put all kinds of stuff in there. But most artists, the second they hear seats, they either say, immediately no, or they say maybe, or they're suited for seats. So we really don't compete over too many of the same acts. There are those we do. And it's interesting because agents would try and pit us against each other, try and get the highest dollar, but I have a great relationship with them. So we're pretty open about all that stuff. Yeah. So, I think it's a different experience. It really is. And it should be.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
you certainly can stand and dance. We encourage dancing in the aisles and, dancing in your seat and stuff like that at the hall. But it's different than being in a, standing pit.
Well, I'm not much of a dancer. So I just want to sit and watch the show.
Yeah.
I want to do what we do in America, just bob my head.
Yeah.
And just
act
like
just that nice shoulder bob. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Toe tapping, rocking back and forth.
I know you really want me to jump and dance, but I'm not going to give it to you. I'm not.
I really don't want to.
Sorry. See, that's where it's different. Like in the UK, and everybody crawls all over each other. Yes, you are God. Here in America, okay.
Yeah.
This makes me tap my toe.
That's fine. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I always make the joke, Charleston Music Hall, your dad thinks we're cool.
Yeah, wow.
Because
Yes.
our demo is older. It truly is. And that's just
That's it.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. That's it.
That's where that joke ended.
That's where that joke ended. But we the seats and the size lend itself to, and a certain type of artist, which a lot of the times they're either on their way up or in most cases on their way down. They're not that there's a negative downward spiral or anything, but David Crosby's selling 600 tickets. Okay.
Yeah.
He's in Charleston. The Music Hall is perfect for him. The acoustics are amazing. You can tell the stories. It's an intimate listening room. It's great.
Yeah,
but something like STS9 where you want to pop some acid and lose your mind. It's not. You'd probably hit a seat and hurt your legs, and you wouldn't like it. So. Yeah.
It's funny. I'm gonna have to buy some Mother's Day / birthday tickets for my mom because you've got Chris Christopherson coming in later this year, which I thought was cool. I've never been in a town where he played, so that's gonna make her day.
I love it. We've been working on that show for a few years, honestly, back and forth with the agent and trying to get them to town. So that was a huge win for us.
Now, if you can just get the Highwaymen in, you'll have it made.
Yeah, seriously.
Wow.
Yeah, that's very cool. It's so neat. We've talked to a lot of bands on this show, and it's so neat to talk to someone who actually is on the other side of the coin there. Promoting and getting people in. So it's just it's very interesting.
Yeah. So when do you get a lot of low to medium level bands that might be coming through on tour? We tend to get a lot of folks who are just on the up and up. They're just starting those little mid regional tours and stuff. But Do you ever find them coming through, even if they can't necessarily sell out a show, 900 seats or what have you? What's your perception of that? If any band is ever listening and saying, that is our goal, that is our Woodstock, Charleston Music Hall, baby, how do they get there?
Yeah.
The dads are all there.
Yeah, that's right.
The older humans with extendable income. Huzzah!
Yeah.
I mean, I tried, and I still try to get smaller groups in, and we've tried to make that work. Yeah. But we've just found that if there's less than 300 people in the room, it's kind of a weird experience for everyone.
Yeah.
It's weird, the people in the audience kind of are like, this is big room, why is no one here? And then the band just doesn't get the energy and the same feel.
Yeah. I feel like they failed.
Yeah, which they didn't. I mean, getting 300 people to anything is a huge, it's amazing.
Right.
But that's where I think it's just, as a band, it's really important to play the right room and to make the smart and thought out moves, and not have a big head about it. I mean, I manage the band too still, or co-manage them with this guy Jared Wilkins. He's a great dude, and
that's good.
It's been really fun to work with them. I started to manage them in 2014, just because I wanted to see the other side of it. I wanted to see the artist side. I wanted to work directly with an artist. And they have a booking agent at Paradigm Agency, and it's been really interesting to see that booking side of it, because it really is so strategic. I mean, we put them in a 300 cap space in Charleston first, sold that out. And then, slowly built them, sold out the music farm. And then October, we did an outside show at the Royal American and sold 1,500 tickets.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yep.
That band is also based out of Charleston, right?
Correct.
Oh, you need to have them come on our show?
Yeah.
Yeah. They'd love to. It'd be awesome. They're actually recording a third album in Asheville right now, this week.
North Carolina.
Oh, very cool.
Very cool. Yeah. They're putting it out in February, so it's a great little plug there.
That costs money. Hey, say free advertisement, buddy. We got ads for that stuff. Okay, you see how you snuck that in there, Nick?
I like it. Very sneaky.
Yeah, it's very sneaky.
I was honest about it.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
But as a band, you just need, especially with Charleston, if you've never played Charleston before, you should not play the Charleston Music Hall.
Done.
You shouldn't do it. You need to build your audience. You need to do a tin roof, a Royal American, a poorhouse. Get those 200-300 400 tickets, and then keep going from there. What? It is always interesting, though. I mean, the music industry, which is why I love it, is so unpredictable and wild, because it's run by the fans. That's what's so beautiful about it. I mean, if the fans don't respond, if they don't buy the tickets, they don't like the music, you're not going to sell tickets. And the Culture Wall is a great example. He's coming to Music Hall November 18th. A 19-year-old kid from Alberta, Canada, sings like Johnny Cash's Ghost. I mean, he is. It's like Johnny Cash has taken over this 19-year-old Canadian's body, and his songwriting's amazing. So we did him at the Royal American in March. 300 tickets sold out. Wow. And we're bringing them back November 18th. He's already sold 500 tickets, and boom, he did Royal, and now he's doing the Hall, and he'll probably sell it out.
Do you think people are coming to the show because he's from Canada? They're like, well, what's this guy got?
Yeah.
Canada? Oh, man.
Maybe they'll give away free samples of maple syrup.
Yeah, free samples of maple syrup. Oh, man, that sounds delicious. With every album.
He must be a doctor as well.
That's right.
Free healthcare up there.
Wow.
With every ticket, a plate of pancakes.
That is a deal.
We're going to tape them under your seat.
I will go to that show, man. That is right there.
Yeah. Hide the pancake. I think that's a great idea.
Charleston Music Hall presents the Pancake Hour.
Brought to you by IHOP.
That's right. I love it.
Yeah, you couldn't. Yeah, the stickiness of the floor would never get that.
Well, yeah. I mean, things are going to happen. Well, you got a lot of days in between the 270 events. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah,
okay,
come on.
Yeah, that's true.
150 days to clean up. Okay,
Yeah,
once a year. All right, you got 4 employees. Let's put them to work.
Yeah,
I think.
Put them to work.
Let's do it.
I mean, they're not doing anything.
No, not at all.
Now, speaking of your employees, I do have a question. You only have 4 employees there. How do you handle the rigging of the lights and the audio? Is one of those employees your in-house audio engineer? Do you always have your bands bring in the audio? How do you get this?
Yeah, of course. So those 4 employees are our salaried employees. So it's the marketing director is Bonnie Wolf.
Nice.
Box office manager is Taylor Blumenberg. Bar manager, Jay Causey. And operations director is Nicholas McDonald. So Nicholas actually advances the shows with the band. And then we have contract sound and lighting guys.
Okay.
Interesting.
So we have like 3 lighting guys, 3 sound guys that get paid a flat rate per show. But, they have enough gigs where it's basically their full-time job. But it's cool. Our audio guy also goes out on the road with Manchester Orchestra. Our lighting guy is doing the lights for Stone Temple Pilots right now.
Wow.
So it's a good gig because they can go and do, get on the road and get that out of their wheelhouse, and then still have a paying gig at home. And it's worked. That model has worked really well, actually. And but Nicholas will make sure, we'll talk with our techs, our lighting and sound about we need risers over here, they're going to need, whatever they need. And then, during a show, we'll swell. We have 300 volunteer ushers, so we do 20 volunteer ushers a show.
Wow.
They scan the tickets, take you to your seat, make sure everything's fine. You have security, bartenders, stagehands. So we swell to, 30, 40 people in the hall working during shows.
Wow.
And it's worked. It's worked great, actually.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, because I had a very interesting experience there a couple of years ago, and so I want to hear all about this as well. We went and saw Sister Hazel, my wife and I, and they were there recording for the Live from the Charleston Music Hall television show.
Yes.
So how did you get this? And it was a phenomenal concert, by the way. I mean, speaking of audio, it was just sounded
awesome.
Great. I loved every second of it. Actually, you can see me on the video because I was in the second row. but
I love that.
How did you hook this up? And what's your relationship with Mark Bryan?
Yeah, so Mark Bryan lived across the street from me from the age of 10 to 18.
Oh, no way.
In the old village. Yeah. So, I mean, I would run over. First time I ever heard Led Zeppelin, he gave me a Led Zeppelin DVD. He was like, dude, you got to watch this. And it changed, blew my mind. So he was always, he took me to one of my first concerts, which was Cowboy Mouth at the Windjammer.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind. That first time you come out of a concert and your ears are still ringing and you're full of electricity. God, that feeling is, you never forget that. But so I grew up across the street from him. So he was one of the first people I called when I started the music hall. Just, Mark, I'm at the hall. If you have any ideas or anything you want to do, I'd love to, of course, work with you and, blah, blah, blah. And he came back and said, well, there actually is an idea. I've really wanted to do this Austin City Limits style show in Charleston. And I think the Charleston Music Hall would be great. So Mark and Chucktown Music kind of partnered with Ear for Music and the Music Hall, and through all of our hard work and collaborative efforts, we got the College of Charleston on board, we got ETV on board, and we're able to make the first season of Live at the Charleston Music Hall.
Yeah.
So 11 bands, and it's cool. Mark does an interview with them, so you get to know them a little more, and then it's an amazing, beautifully produced concert. I think rivals, in production value, Austin City Limits for sure.
Oh yeah, I thought it was great.
It's very expensive and very hard to raise money for, though. So we're kind of stuck right now with, we've got a great season. It's aired from Seattle to New York to LA to New Orleans. I mean, it's got nationwide coverage on, ETVs, public television.
Yeah.
But you can't sell, ticket prices don't cover, the production costs.
Right.
Interesting.
So you have to find, fundraisers or donors, which has been hard.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can keep it going. I think it's been a cool way. And there's a lot of, lesser known acts that are we wanted to focus, on like the southern region a lot. So that kind of plays a part of it, which was fun.
Wow.
For me, it's been really great.
But yeah, it was a blast.
It's been really great for me. I'm from here originally. I was in North Carolina for a while. I came back after college. But seeing the difference, and it has a lot to do with the population now. Of course, there's a lot of people here in Charleston.
Yeah.
But
a little bit.
Especially in the past, I don't know, 5 to 10 years here, I've seen bigger and bigger acts starting to come through. What's your take on the way the music scene here has grown, and where do you see it going?
Yeah, I think we're in an interesting time for the music scene because it still is kind of, untouched ground in a lot of ways. And a lot of the big promoters and big, like the Live Nations and the AC Entertainment and the AAGs, they're still trying to figure out the Charleston market, which is changing so quickly, honestly, that it is hard to figure out. Yeah. Why did Portugal the Man sell out the music hall and they were able to come back a year later and play Volvo Car Stadium, which is, 8,000 seats? That's amazing. That's incredible. Yeah. But then other stuff you think is going to do really well just falls flat on its face. Death Cab for Cutie, for example, I went to that show out there and there was maybe 2,000 people there.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
So it is interesting. Charleston, I think you're seeing a growth of population. You're seeing more venues branching out and promoting more, and you're seeing more promoters just trying to bring shows into the market. Stuff like High Water Music Festival and Trondosa Music Festival, and that's led by what's the other great part of our scene now is a strong local scene. I mean, Shovels and Rope, nationally known band, doing amazing. I just actually they just got on the top 200 of most influential female musicians in the 21st century. Never saw that today, which is pretty cool. They're leading the way to not only bring up the local bands, but also bring other small bands into Charleston and raise them up. And that's what's so cool to me, is just to see the local scene just get better and better. Yeah. And these musicians, the local musicians, really pushing each other to make really amazing stuff. And Susto is a great example of that. And there's offshoot, like Human Resources is the lead guitarist of Susto. Babe Club is the keyboard and bass player. And they're tight knit with the High Divers and all these other bands that are starting to tour more and more. And they're getting gigs in Charleston. They're able to live here, and it builds that scene up from the ground up, which is what's so important. That being said, diversity is an issue in our music scene. And as a venue booker and runner, I mean, I'll tell you, it's hard. It's really hard to book diverse stuff because people don't come out to it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking hip hop. I'm talking everything from metal to experimental to all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
We don't have that strong. We haven't had that strong of a concert show culture. Mm-hmm. So I think people are still hesitant to go out and try new things, which is changing and will change as we bring more stuff in and their palate. They taste different stuff. But that's really difficult, and especially for me, I want to see more women represented in our bookings, more minorities represented in our bookings. Yeah. But we're a for-profit. If we don't sell tickets, we lose money.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's a really hard place to be in.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it's just again so important that we develop a strong, developing room in Charleston to be able to build that stuff up. But it's cool. Even, I'm starting to see more and more of it. Even this little tiny bar Proof. I was there Monday night, and this band Terraphonics, they were doing jazz, but then they had Matt Monday come on top of it and do his hip hop over a live jazz band. And it was amazing. Yeah. And like black, white, I mean, all ages. It was like super diverse crowd. Everyone was really into it. There's a line out the door. So, it's cool to start seeing that interesting, different stuff come out of Charleston.
Yeah, just in a time where everybody's, like instant gratification happens on our devices and all that. It's really hard sometimes for us to be like, yeah, I really want to try something new, or I want to experiment, and I'm guilty of that. I mean, hey man, make Hootie your house band. I'll be there.
I know.
I'll be there. I love Hootie now.
Yeah, I see him every year at the tennis stadium.
Hootie, I know. I mean, I cannot tell you how many people have said to me, man, just book Neil Young for 7 straight days.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. Like, what? That's not how it works.
Yeah,
Neil doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to keep coming out.
No.
Maybe once or twice,
Not
but
for
after
Neil
that,
Young.
like, dude, you stop it. Yeah, it's we go with what we know, and that's true. And I mean, I think some of the folks who live downtown from time to time tend to be a little more adventurous. Like I have friends who, older friends who live right downtown. They love going to the, Charleston Music Hall. Like I see them posting things on social media all the time about going and seeing new groups and all that. So, because they try to patronize, the things that are going on downtown.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that rules. People are starting to trust what we're booking, so they, we book some. There's some bad stuff. I'm not, there's certainly the bad show here and there.
Well, but
for the most part, I think they're trusting what we're booking, so they're trying new things, which is great.
Yeah. I mean, because there's so many places. You got the tennis stadium, you got all that. We've seen a couple shows over there. I've seen things over in North Charleston, like not the Coliseum. I always get to
PAC,
the small theater, the one that's.
But I did see Garth Brooks in the Coliseum, sold out.
Well.
And the soccer stadium too. That's another cool place to see a show around here. Zach
Absolutely.
Brown,
Blackbaud.
Yeah, Blackbaud.
So cool.
Zach Brown did. I don't know if he's doing it anymore, but he was doing a Southern Ground Festival there. So that was so. There's a lot of venues in this area.
Absolutely.
But you guys are to me, it seems like you're in a really good location because if you're talking about downtown Charleston,
in the heart of Charleston.
Yeah, you're right there. So that has to be a benefit for you, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we got a parking garage connected to the building, so parking's not an issue. So it definitely helps. I think as the traffic gets worse, though, and as parking, the parking meters now go till 10. They cost so much money. I mean, I think we're starting to see a little backlash from that as well, though. Which just goes back to the Mount Pleasant joke of a lot of Mount Pleasanters don't like driving downtown. They don't like going to places downtown.
Yeah.
They're worried about parking. They're worried about traffic. They're worried about flooding. They're worried about all this stuff.
Yeah.
And if that's the first thing you do is worry about going somewhere, I think you're less likely to do it. So
Sure. I know, but dang it, just man up,
Mount
Pleasant, let's go. Come on.
Mount Pleasant. We're really hating on Mount Pleasant.
Just relax. Just come on
man
down.
Up, Mount Pleasant.
Jeez.
Come on.
You don't need to park on the street. That's why the parking garages cost the same now, because we don't want you to park on the street so you don't flood. There's half your problems.
There's half your problem.
There it is, right there. Boom. If you need me to do marketing for you, okay.
Yep.
Derek's your guy.
I'll be ruthless. I will tear this city up.
New marketing strategy. Just rail on
just
people.
Be mean.
Yeah.
I'll stand out front and have signs that just say the worst stuff. I don't care.
Yeah. I think that's great.
Thank you.
You got it's $1 million idea.
Yeah, I believe in the Charleston Music Hall so much that I'm willing to make the entire city hate me.
Absolutely.
For you.
Great.
Yeah.
You're hired.
Do you ever wake up and say to yourself, I can't believe I run event. I mean, because by the way, I didn't know that the music hall was sort of a recent turnaround as a venue. I mean, I guess thinking about it, I always thought it was just kind of there,
the staple. But
to hear the 2012 and 2013 being your turnaround, that's surprising to me.
Because I hear about it all the time.
Yeah,
I mean, I hear Charleston Music Hall all the time from people I know. It comes up in conversation like, yeah, that's the place, just like the Music Farm. Like I hear these venues thrown out all the time. So it's definitely become synonymous as one of the bigger ones.
Yeah, if you've only been doing this for 6 or 7 years.
6 years, man.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Some 23-year-old punk kid.
Yeah.
Some
just woke up.
Kid from Mount Pleasant. What the hell is he doing? Thank you. I mean, it's the whole build it and they'll come, mentality is kind of, it's been really cool to see it happen and for people to come out.
Yeah.
And programming creates more programming. They come to a movie and they see a concert, they come back. So it's certainly extremely stressful. And yes, I do wake up every day very happy and overjoyed and thrilled and can't believe that I get to do what I love to do. I mean, I wake up every day loving what I do. It's the best thing in the world. And it comes with its own stresses for sure, like anything else.
Oh, yeah.
People are wild animals.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I've read that.
Yeah. I've had 6 broken hips in my tenure.
Oh my gosh!
I haven't broken my hip 6 times.
Oh.
I've had other humans break their hips.
Oh.
I thought you meant you.
I was like, Jesus Christ, dude! It's been it's like one a year.
Yeah.
Man, what
Listen,
like I don't know if I want to work there anymore, man.
Maybe you need Charles, just install some ramps.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the second floor, I keep tripping and breaking my hip.
Charleston's really,
Drink some milk.
old-minded about some of these accessibility entrances. So we just get rid of the rails.
Yeah.
Just
Stairs, I don't deal with stairs. We just have smooth ramps.
God, 6 broken hips.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
No.
It's like, dude, you're not even 30.
Yeah.
I've had reconstructive surgery every week.
It's wild. You think you go to a show, it should be very simple. You buy a beer, you go sit down, you see the show, you enjoy the show, you don't enjoy the show, you go home. The amount of issues you can have from getting to the car and back is unbelievable. It truly is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has anybody been hit by a car outside of the building?
Oh gosh.
I'm just curious.
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna knock on some wood here.
Yeah.
Yet.
So that's good. We're knocking too.
Yeah.
Because I used to do Uber from time to time, and I'd pick people up from there. And
me too.
Yeah, people are freaking crazy. They will just walk out in front of you.
The other day, I was at the box office. A lady comes up, and there's just blood all over her arm.
God.
Of course there is.
Ma'am, what happened? I was in the bathroom, and
oh my God.
I think I hit something. Like, oh my gosh, it's just like, all right, got a first aid kit. Let's doctor you up.
Don't sue us. Thanks.
Please sign this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We didn't do it.
We didn't do it.
And if you come after us, we will do it.
Yeah.
And we'll never be heard from again.
It's like, ma'am, I think you're confused. You're at the Music Farm right now.
That's the best way to make sure no one sues you. Threaten them immediately.
Yeah. or give them the name of your competition, not your competition, quote unquote, but the people across the street.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's good.
But yeah, it's a blast. It really is. I'm working with a great team, and it's good. So the stresses aside, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Charles, I have to say, it's really an absolute pleasure that you wanted to come on the show.
Yeah.
We've been trying to get into the local community a little bit more. We've been doing this show for a while, and so we've been trying to reach out into the Charleston community and get people to come on and getting our name out there to the community. So, it's great to make your acquaintance, and anytime you need some promotion, or if your band wants to come talk to us, we'd love to have them.
Yeah.
Send them our way.
Yeah, perfect. I will. And if you ever need ideas for bands or whatever, talk to you, please hit me up. I'd love to help spread the word.
Boom.
I knew Kinetic Hi-Fi way back in the day, and actually I did my comedy duo band did a thing on there once.
Oh
wow.
Now
introducing Fish Taco.
I don't know if you said that because you maybe saw our article or something, but this show started on Kinetic. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I did my research.
Yeah.
I went to the webpage.
There was a time where Nick, I lived in New York City at the time, and Nick lived down here, and we would do the show. We'd be on like FaceTime. And
we each recorded
our tracks, and we put them together. And put it and on that, and then he finally convinced me to move here. And then guess what? He moved to Germany.
Yeah, I went to Germany for 2 years.
Thanks, asshole. Sorry, excuse my French, but then he came back, and then here we are. But that was fun. But I guess we survived. I don't know where Connecticut is, but hey, man.
I think there is still someone doing it, but I'm not sure.
I don't. Yeah.
So.
I'm not sure either. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard, but I think it is super important. Conversation is important. What y'all are doing is important. So thanks for what you're doing. I think it's great.
Well, no, thank you for what you're doing. Yeah, I mean, that we came on this with the hope of giving a platform to indie artists and making connections ourselves. We're musicians. We've been in bands together, and so for us, it's just it's neat to talk to people in the music industry that are making it happen because we didn't.
Right. Well, and we've sold out. So here we are. No, and then
we're still hold out.
But then we let. What's great about you coming on too is that you give some cool insight to people who are getting started, and it's like, all right, well, Charleston Music Hall. All right, so before we go there, maybe we might want to fill out, the local Denny's. Let's see if we can max that place out.
Get Denny's booked and then give me a call.
That's right.
But it is interesting. I get dozens of emails every day of everything from Jesse's Girls, the best '80s tribute show in the world, to it's really great bands who just we just can't book.
Yeah.
But the way the industry's working now, it's like I'm not even able to add local support to most shows.
Yeah.
Because the agents have gotten smart and they send their baby bands out with all their big bands.
Yeah.
So before, even when I first started, I felt like I could at least put local bands on more support slots.
Yeah.
But they won't even give you that option anymore.
Ugh.
So that's been interesting.
Well, damn it.
That's where if you're a band, booking agent is the most important thing for you. You gotta get a good booking agent with a good agency, and that's my best advice is just try and figure out how to get your booking agent.
That's different advice than I've gotten from anybody.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Boom. I like it.
Yeah,
that's what we did
huge.
wrong.
It's huge. It'll make. That's it. That's how Stu still got their Lumineers opening dates. That's how their success is through. We have a badass booking agent who's just killed it. The band's great and they're working hard. They're doing a really good job. But
that's secondary. You just need a really good booking.
That doesn't matter.
They'll sell you. Don't worry. Being good. You could be good later. Right now, just get a good.
Well,
booking.
You have to be good to get the booking agent. So there's that whole thing.
Well, Melodyne, whatever. I'll just tune the vocals. I'll be fine.
Yeah,
it'll be great.
Like Emma Watson in Beauty and the Beast.
Oh my God! Did you see that movie? The newest Beauty and the Beast, the live action.
I tried. I couldn't. It looked too weird. I didn't like. I hated it.
Well,
I couldn't get.
I'll from a visual standpoint, that is what it is. But when she opened her mouth and sang, they tuned the hell out of her voice, like just the life out of it. It's like, I'm like, girl, just give her a chance. Just turn off the digital thing just a little bit,
or hire a singer.
Yeah,
it's like Russell Crowe and Les Mis.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I have such a problem with musicals being translated to movies.
Yeah.
Because it's always pre-recorded. You can
I
tell.
Agree.
Yeah. It's come
on. I watched Mamma Mia for the first time the other day.
Ooh.
And Pierce Brosnan also should keep that pretty mouth closed.
Yeah.
He's got a pretty mouth, but that's about as far as it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what she said.
Yeah. She might have said that.
That's what she said.
Yeah, she possibly.
Yeah, definitely.
God, I wonder what Pierce Brosnan's doing right now.
Hey, that's a
He's
great
probably
question. Now you've
sitting
opened
on a yacht.
a whole new can of
guy,
questions.
I
know. Like he just, he was great in Mrs. Doubtfire. You know, he was good in one of the James Bonds, and Lawnmower Man was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think he's doing fine.
I think he's
sure.
doing better than all of us. I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
I'm sure you're a multi-millionaire,
Yeah.
but you know him, he's a multi-millionaire, you know, because he has a good booking agent. Boom. Boom, full circle, baby.
There it is.
Full circle.
That's
I like
called
that.
bringing it back around.
You see what he did there?
Yeah, that's why we're in the biz. We're in the radio right here.
That's right. You're talking to a couple of radio professionals.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not sure if you were aware.
Clearly.
Well, Charles, I'm definitely going to be reaching out to you to talk to your band.
And stalk you.
Yeah, and a little stalking.
Great.
Get ready.
You know,
Perfect.
Get
Yeah.
ready. He's really good at
Happy.
stalking.
yeah, because but
Just ask his last 3 girlfriends.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, please do. I'm happy to. Yeah, absolutely.
and it was
Love to get him on.
really nice to make your acquaintance.
Yes,
Now,
absolutely.
do us a favor for our listeners. Promote yourself. Where can they get tickets? Where can they know about your shows? What's the next show? Lay it out for us.
So, charlestonmusichall.com, www, is where you can find all the information about upcoming shows at the Charleston Music Hall. And you can buy all your tickets online, or if you don't want to pay those nasty ticketing fees, we have box office hours Monday through Friday, 12 to 6. If you call 843-853-2252 or stop by, you don't pay ticketing fees on tickets. So you can either call or stop by and get around those online fees, or if you just want to do it from the comfort of your bed and your jammies, or lack thereof jammies,
Thank you.
just hit the buy tickets button.
I feel represented. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I know. I thought of you.
Yeah, I
Derek.
appreciate that. Thank you.
How did he know we were in our jammies?
I don't
right now?
know, man. I don't know.
I assume you're both not yet naked somewhere.
Well, we do live in Charleston.
That's right.
I know. My AC's out of my house, I think. I am definitely naked right now.
God.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah.
But also, I have started a promotions company called Murias Entertainment just to do what we were kind of discussing, which is promote smaller bands in Charleston. So muriasent.com. We're doing Jeff the Brotherhood at the Poorhouse. We're doing Ron Gallo at the Royal American. We've got 3 Camp at the Royal American, and then Family and Friends are 4 shows coming up. So I was tired of not, all these small bands coming to me and not being able to book them at the hall. So we've started Murias to put them in other rooms and start building them in the market. So that's been a lot of fun, actually.
Doing amazing things for your community, man.
Yeah.
That's great.
Thanks.
So now tell
been
those
good.
bands that starting the last weekend of September, we have open slots on our show for band interviews.
That's right.
Perfect.
And if they want us
Done.
to say nice things about them, that's $100.
That's right.
And
You can buy our tickets at a box office in the front of my
that's
house.
Right. That's right.
It's a
Cash.
little lemonade stand out there
Yeah.
with tickets to the show.
Yeah, that's right. And you can listen on podcasts.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Charles,
Yeah.
for coming on.
Real pleasure,
Yeah,
brother.
it really was.
Yeah. Thanks,
and
guys.
hopefully we will talk to you soon.
Yeah, I hope they'll run into you soon. Have a good one.
You
Hey,
too. Well, Derek, there goes Charles Carmody of the Charleston Music Hall.
Yeah, man. That was fun.
Wasn't that cool?
Yeah.
I put out a bunch of emails the other week to several different venues in town.
Yeah.
Because I thought it would be really neat to talk to some of them. And I emailed the Windjammer, actually. I emailed the Music Farm and the Charleston Music Hall, and he was the first one. Hopefully maybe they'll all get back to me, I hope.
Yeah.
But he was the very first one that got back to me that day and said I'd love to come on.
That's
So
awesome.
really, really cool.
Nice guy. Funny guy. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. But it's crazy. 23 years old.
That's
Just
wild.
F it. Hey, dude, I want to run this thing. Let's just do it. And the guy's like, okay. Yeah, if you can find the
Yeah.
keys. I haven't seen the keys in
Can
6
you believe
years.
that?
That is such a weird thing. But, man.
I have I feel like I've known the Charleston Music Hall was there my whole life.
I mean,
but
since I've been here,
not.
it is a staple of locations I've heard about since I've been here. And I've been here since 2013.
So I moved back in 2009, and based on what he said, they weren't in operation at that time.
Not really, yeah.
That's wild.
It really is, man. But doing amazing things. Like, what I like about that is that, you know, he talks about kind of the pitfalls of like, well, we can't get a lot of local bands unless you got the draw. But I love that he's like, but you know what? I'm going to start this management company. I'm going to help these guys do it somewhere else. Like, kind of building this community. Because he could have just thought, F you, you're not good enough. Get out of here, kid. You'll never be good enough. And then he kind of changed that tone.
You know what's funny?
What?
That's one of the places I emailed when we were trying to book the tour.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they would have been like, don't know.
What's
your draw?
It was
is 2 people enough? Me and my guitar?
It was you need. I feel like there was something about $500 in there, and you know, if you can't bring this many people, you have to pay or something. So, but yeah,
well, that is what it is. Now, I mean, but.
If he goes back in his archives, he probably has an email from me.
Probably. But, I mean, but you can't pretend to be bigger than you are. I
No.
mean, that's ultimately what happens.
Yeah.
Is that, you know, yes, it is a romantic feeling to jump up on a big stage with 900 seats. But, man, if only 50 of those seats are full, you feel like a loser.
Yeah.
You just feel like rock bottom, man. It's like, well, this sucks.
And the shows that I've seen there were, I mean, I don't know that they were absolutely sold out, but it was packed.
Yeah.
The Sister Hazel show we went to.
Well, I'm sure that was full.
It was packed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to be on TV.
Really, especially in that kind of an auditorium. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but the way it's designed, if it's full, that's a live feeling because you can hear everybody very well, really nice acoustics. If everybody starts jumping on that mezzanine, they're moving the whole building.
Oh, I'm
you
sure.
know? So it's one of those type of places that a full show is really cool.
But even still, like 500 people is going to be a lot for a place that seats 900. It's just like that. Like he said, man, like 200-300. Yeah, it's a little light.
Yeah.
But no, I love that he's doing it. You know, and it just goes to show too, man. If you got a dream, just he made that job for himself.
Yeah.
Which is even more impressive. It's just like, dude, he didn't have that. It wasn't like he applied on Craigslist and like, oh, all right. He made it happen. And then he ended up creating jobs for 4 other people, you know, and then and other folks who come in and do these shows. Like, how amazing is that?
What's really neat, too,
cool little story.
Living across from Mark Bryan, by the way, for our listeners who may not know, that's the guitar player for Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah.
Neat, though, to go to him, and he said, yeah, I got an idea.
Yeah.
And have you seen the show? It's on PBS.
I need to check it out.
I feel like Mark Bryan won a what's the TV award? Emmy?
Yeah.
I think he won an Emmy for the first season.
He's
really cool show.
He's a nice guy. I met Mark. He came into my work one day, and I recognized him because he's tall.
Yeah, he's a tall guy.
Really tall guy. And then he and I talked shop for a few minutes. But I used to work with the Hootie and the Blowfish's managers, Rusty Harmon, Mark Zano, and you know, and that's funny that he said Cowboy Mouth because they were managing Cowboy Mouth when I was with them. Yeah. So I remember hearing their name a lot because they were really blowing up back then. But I
would love to get Mark on the show.
Yeah,
actually,
nice guy.
You know, it's funny too. We did Drew did a comedy show that we all kind of threw together at the time. Him and several other comedians in Mark's studio downtown.
Yeah.
Which was a really neat.
I've heard about that.
That was a neat time to go in there and see all the albums on the wall and everything.
There's another nice studio. Eric Bass, who's the bass player, I believe, for Shinedown.
Oh.
You know that?
I didn't know he had a studio here.
They record their album here.
Really?
Shinedown does, yeah.
So this is people we need to get on the show.
Yeah, Shinedown's not coming on our damn show.
They might. You never know.
They're bigger than us, but But that being said, they record it all here. And Eric Bass produces it. So yeah, he's a bass player from Charleston. And
well, if Charles knows Mark Bryan, maybe I'll reach out.
Why don't you start emailing?
Yeah,
that is what markbryan@aol.com. That
Probably.
sounds like or Gmail. I mean, we'll just start there and wait until we get one back until we get some random guy named Mark. Like, well, my name's Mark. I've never played guitar in my life.
I met him once as well, actually at the music farm. I met him. Nice guy.
Yeah, that's cool. And, you know, again, Charles was a very nice guy that we had on the show here.
Yep. And we appreciate him coming on.
Really do. Thanks for, you know, it's because it's our thing, too. We've always been kind of like talking national, you know, with a lot of people around the world. And it is really cool to kind of give back to our community, too, and try to
Well, there is a music scene here. It's blooming.
Yep.
But I think there's a lot of different... He named off a few bands that with his promotions company.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
good connection, I think.
So if you're a band in Charleston or anywhere else in the world and you want to promote your music and it's not garbage, please submit it to totheecho.com. I can't stress enough. Don't be garbage.
And if you are garbage, send it to theecho.doesn't-want-garbage at gmail.com.
We need to make that email. No, but not... You can send it.
Yeah.
But we might not answer you.
That's right.
And it's not because we don't like you.
No.
It's because you're not there yet.
That's right.
And one day you'll get there, but not because of us. Good night. No, no. I remember Twitter at To The Echo Radio.
Yep.
ToTheEcho.com for all information on us. What's other stuff that we do?
iTunes podcast,
of course. Spreaker.com.
Yep. Our lovely hosts.
Yes.
In that newspaper article, they listed off a lot of them. Some of them I didn't even know we were on.
Yeah, like Google Play and all that.
Yeah. So we're all over the internet.
Yeah. So we want to thank everybody locally who's been supporting us. It's been fun, man. We're next week again. We're out.
Yep. You'll be able to download a best of show, but we will not be live.
That's right. Next Sunday will be a best of couple shows for that Sunday and Wednesday.
And look out for September 9th when we do return. Haley Mae Campbell coming through town, and we'll be here live.
That's right. Playing an
unreleased song.
I'm excited, man.
Me too. I think that'll be really neat.
She's really good. And she'll be playing at the Windjammer. But with that, guys, I'm Derek Daisy.
I'm Nico Kelly.
And this has been To The Echo Radio Show.
That's right. See you next time.
See ya.